Hello guys, welcome to my humble YouTube channel where I bring you fanfiction that will brighten your days. Before we start, a subscribe is greatly appreciated, and don't forget to leave a like and ring the bell icon so you won't miss exciting new fanfiction stories. True God in Another World, Tensura x Tbate, by Tempest_King_20. Chapter 14. Date. Rimuru Pav, dressed in a simple olive green long sleeve and black pants, I stepped out of my room, anticipation coursing through my veins. Today was the day I would finally reunite with my parents in Zyrus. It wasn't originally part of my plans, but Sylvia had convinced me otherwise. "You must visit them," she had urged, her eyes filled with empathy. "It's painful for you to be separated from your children, even if you know they are safe. Besides, it will help distract you from thoughts of war." Unable to ignore Sylvia's persuasive words, I relayed my intentions to Gramps. He had made all the necessary arrangements, including preparing a chariot that would transport me to Valdon, where I could utilize the teleportation gate to reach Zyrus. As I made my way towards the palace's entrance, the maid servants handed me a tray of breakfast before bowing respectfully and taking their leave. I acknowledged their gestures with a nod of gratitude and continued towards the waiting group comprised of Art, Tess, and Gramps. Once I descended the stairs and stood before them, Gramps spoke first, his voice carrying a mix of curiosity and concern. "Did you gather everything you need, Rimuru?" With a casual shrug, I responded, "Yeah, though there's not much to take. I won't be able to wear elven clothes there, after all. While I did pack a few elven garments for their comfort, I didn't plan on wearing them outside our home." As the conversation continued, Art chimed in, his voice brimming with warmth and affection. "Please convey my regards to our parents." I nodded, allowing my hand to rest gently on Art's head. "Practice well and don't forget to play with Tessia whenever you get the chance." As expected, Art playfully rolled his eyes and swatted my hand away, his annoyance evident. "You make it sound like you're leaving for an eternity instead of just 2 weeks. And stop treating me like a child, Rimuru." Unable to resist, I couldn't help but tease him further, a playful smile playing on my lips. "But you'll always be my little brother." Exasperated, Art retorted, "The age difference between us is only a few minutes." Chuckling softly, I raised my shoulders slightly in a shrug. "In the end, I'm the oldest." Shifting my gaze to Tessia, I noticed her struggle to hold back tears, her vulnerability peeking through. I reached out, my voice filled with reassuring kindness. "Don't worry, I'll be back before you know it." She bit her lip, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears as she nodded in agreement. As the time to part ways drew closer, I sighed softly, a mixture of enthusiasm and anticipation washing over me. "All right then, I must take my leave now. But Gramps..." Narrowing my eyes at him, suspicion crept in, accompanied by a mischievous glint. Is there something wrong, Rimuru?" he responded, his smile filled with an unspoken understanding. A small tick mark formed on my forehead as I repressed the urge to playfully hit the cheeky old man. "How do you expect me to travel in this carriage? It'll definitely attract attention," I voiced my concern. Gramps' smirk grew wider as he basked in my confusion. "Did you really think I'd let my esteemed disciple and savior of my granddaughter travel in an ordinary carriage? Fear not, I've taken care of that too." Before I could further express my confusion, a sudden surge of excitement coursed through me, compelling me to leap forward. I infused mana into my ring. With a swift motion, I extracted a gleaming sword, its blade poised and ready. "Oh, I was just about to give you a good scare," Aya said, her voice laced with mischief, as she dispelled her magic, revealing her presence. "Didn't you tell me you couldn't sense me?" I couldn't help but sigh, a small hint of frustration coloring my tone. My inability to detect people like Aya, individuals who possessed the skill to hide their presence, vexed me. "True, I can't sense you," I conceded. "So how do you know that?" she challenged, her eyebrows raising in curiosity. "It was merely a guess. I figured we couldn't travel to Valdon in a carriage labeled with the crest of the Elven royal family, so I expected Gramps would send you with an illusion on the carriage. And with your predilection for surprises, I anticipated you would be waiting to startle me." With a little chuckle, I returned the sword back into my ring, its mana dispersing. "By the way, it's been a while. Hi." Aya adopted a mockingly hurt tone, her lips twitching into a playful pout. Didn't you miss me even a little, Ri?" I'm slightly offended. Ignoring her antics, I bid farewell to Gramps, Art, and Tess. Take care, brat, Gramps affectionately admonished, his craggy voice carrying a touch of concern, when I turned to enter the awaiting carriage, Aya close behind me. I will, I assured them, my hand raising in a final wave as the ornate chariot, with its polished wooden exterior and intricate designs of swirling symbols and shimmering gems, began its journey. As I settled into the plush velvet seats of the chariot, a sense of anticipation filled the air. The fine material caressed my skin, adding to the luxuriousness of the setting. In front of me, Aya, her eyes shining with uncontainable curiosity, asked in an almost childlike excitement, "So, are you excited?" I nodded, a small smile playing at the corners of my lips, while observing Aya's delicate hands. Her fingers moved with an ethereal grace, seamlessly conjuring a miniature whirlwind in her palm. The swirling wind danced effortlessly within her grasp, its swirling tendrils captivating my attention as if they were performing an enchanting ballet. "To see your parents or to go to Zyrus?" Aya inquired, her voice filled with genuine interest, pulling me back to the conversation. "My parents, definitely," I responded, my gaze shifting from her mesmerizing display to the window of the chariot. Through the crystal-clear glass, I caught glimpses of vibrant landscapes passing by in a blur, promising an enchanting journey. Though my enthusiasm for the floating city of Zyrus was somewhat lacking, I couldn't help but feel a deep curiosity about how the Jinn managed to create such a phenomenal place. Most people would be excited to see Zyrus. Why aren't you? Aya questioned, her eyes locked upon me, searching for answers. I simply shrugged, choosing not to disclose my secret prowess in architectural wonders. I wasn't going to tell her that I had built much better places than Zyrus, places where dreams and magic merged seamlessly, where ethereal beings roamed and mythical creatures thrived. Instead, I focused my mana, channeling it into creating a small whirlwind of my own, but with a twist. The wind obeyed my command, swirling in an opposing direction to Aya's spell, a mischievous adventure in its own right. With precision and a twinkle in my eyes, I aimed the miniature vortex at her palm, swiftly nullifying both our spells. A playful smile tugged at the corners of my mouth as I eagerly awaited her reaction. Aya's brow furrowed slightly, her determination unwavering as she conjured another whirlwind, this time directed at my face. The wind brushed against my cheeks, teasingly ruffling my hair, sending a delightful shiver down my spine. Laughter bubbled out of me, an uncontrollable response to the playful banter we were embarking on. Our playful banter continued as the chariot gracefully glided towards the teleportation gate. "Oh, right." Aya's voice broke through the whirlwind of laughter, temporarily quieting our mischief. "Were you able to unlock the sound deviance?" With a regretful sigh, I shook my head, my voice tinged with disappointment. "No, not yet. I've been devoting myself to mastering lightning and unlocking ice, along with intense training with Gramps. Finding time for unlocking sound has been challenging." A mischievous glint lit up Aya's eyes once more, and she leaned closer, her voice filled with excitement. The scent of vanilla wafted from her, capturing my attention. "So, what do you think of me training you then? You won't find anyone better at sound magic than me, after all." I couldn't deny her dedication and expertise in sound magic. A smile tugged at the corners of my mouth, mirroring the brightness in her eyes. "Okay, I don't have any problem with that," I replied, pleased to witness her face illuminate with happiness at my response. With a confident nod, Aya's enthusiasm was contagious, spreading through the chariot like wildfire. Her smile grew wider, reflecting the flickering candlelight. "Leave it to me," she exclaimed, her voice filled with determination. The rest of our trip went smoothly without any problems. Aya and I would argue from time to time whenever we camped, which was a bit annoying. Even though her illusions didn't work on me due to my special eyes, she could still catch me off guard and land hits on my blind spots. When we finally arrived in Valdon, I couldn't help but feel a sense of relief. As we strolled through the bustling market, I couldn't help but marvel at the vibrant atmosphere. I decided to buy some thoughtful gifts for my parents and the Helsta family that Seal had mentioned. Standing in front of the transition gate, Aya and I knew it was time to part ways. "So here we part, huh?" Aya's voice broke the silence, her words tinged with a hint of sadness. I nodded, acknowledging the truth in her sentiment. A small smile graced her lips as she continued, "Well, it was fun traveling with you. Have a great time with your parents and don't forget to practice, or else you won't stand a chance against me." "Okay, bye," Big sis, I replied, playfully winking at her. Aya's face turned a shade of red, her expression a mix of embarrassment and amusement. Yeah, bye, she said, her voice softening as she flashed a small smile. A hint of sadness flickered in her eyes before she turned to leave. After bidding farewell to Aya, I stepped through the gate, feeling a surge of excitement and anticipation as I entered the floating city of Zyrus. The transition was seamless, without any complications. Just as I crossed into the city, I could hear Sylvia's voice in my mind. Less than Rimuru. Do it. Greater than Sylvia's words were cryptic, leaving Seal confused. Greater than okay. Okay, you don't have to tell me twice. Less than I responded. My thoughts tinged with a mix of nerves and confidence. I began scanning my surroundings, my gaze searching for a secluded alley where I could enact our plan. And then, I found it, a narrow, dimly lit pathway that seemed to invite a rendezvous. You can do this, Rimuru, I whispered to myself, attempting to steady the rapid beats of my heart. Taking in a deep breath, I summoned a wave of calmness, suppressing my nervousness. The time had come, and I couldn't afford to falter. Greater than hey, Seal. Less than I called out, my voice laced with a mixture of hesitation and a newfound determination. Less than yes, Master. Greater than Ciel's response was eager, her anticipation palpable as she awaited my next words and Sylvia's secret plan. Greater than oh yeah. See Seal. Would you like to accompany me in exploring the city? Less than I stammered slightly, my words stumbling over each other in my nervousness. Less than. Greater than Ciel's surprise was evident in her tone, taken aback by my unexpected request. Greater than there's still plenty of time before the sun sets, and I don't see any reason to rush to reunite with my parents. So, I thought it would be nice to take a leisurely stroll and explore the city together. Less than I explained, momentarily pausing to gather my thoughts before continuing. Greater than so, can you accompany me? Less than I finally managed to ask, my voice laced with a hint of hope and vulnerability. Less than yes, Master. I would be honored to accompany you in person. Greater than Ciel's voice resonated with genuine happiness and excitement, her eagerness shining through. Greater than then create a clone of yourself and let's surround ourselves with an illusion. Less than I instructed Ciel, giving voice to Sylvia's enigmatic plan. Less than hi, Master. Greater than Ciel responded, her enthusiasm bubbling over as she initiated her powers. With a fluid motion, she created a clone, an exact replica devoid of consciousness, using her multiple parallel existence ability. And then, with a wave of her hand, she weaved a complex illusion around us, cleverly masking our distinctively blue hair and transforming it into a more inconspicuous black hue. So shall we go? I said, a slight nervousness tugging at my voice, as I held out my hand for her. With bated breath, I awaited her response, the anticipation blossoming in the pit of my stomach. She glanced at my outstretched hand, her face flushed with a hint of apprehension. But as the seconds ticked by, the redness gradually subsided, replaced by a satisfied and happy smile. She then reached out and firmly grasped my hand, her touch warming my own, as our fingers entwined and our palms pressed against each other. Ciel, wait. I stammered, taken aback by her sudden eagerness, my words nearly getting lost in the overwhelming whirlwind of emotions that swept over me. Ignoring my confusion, she pulled me along, her excitement evident in each step she took. We ventured into a bustling commercial area, brimming with a myriad of shops and stalls. The vibrant scene before us came to life, enticing us with its wide array of offerings. Mouthwatering delights, from delectable street food to cozy cafes and elegant restaurants, tempted our taste buds. We wove through the crowd, passing shops adorned with flowers, ornaments, accessories, jewelries, weapons, and armor. As my mind grappled with the overwhelming sensory experience, I couldn't help but marvel at the fact that this was the first time I had ever held a girl's hand. I sternly reminded myself to remain composed, focusing my attention on Ciel, who appeared to be thoroughly basking in the moment. Her excitement radiated from her every pore, her eyes filled with childlike wonder. Gathering my thoughts and summoning a surge of courage, I clutched her hand a little tighter, capturing her attention as we came to a halt. Stepping to her side, a genuine smile lit up my face as I addressed her cheerfully. So Ciel, is there something you would like to do? I asked, my voice filled with genuine curiosity, genuinely eager to hear her desires. Wherever master wishes to G, Seal began to say, but I swiftly cut her off, determined to give her the freedom to express her own wishes. No, Seal. I'm asking you what you want to do, I reassured her, my voice softening with sincerity, yearning to grant her a glimpse of agency, to show her that her desires mattered immensely to me. Ciel's eyes widened, a flicker of surprise appearing on her face. She hesitated for a moment, the weight of this newfound freedom settling on her shoulders. But then, a flicker of resolve crossed her expression, and she spoke softly, her voice carrying a touch of vulnerability. I would like to go there, she finally voiced, pointing towards an inviting ice cream stall nearby. A rush of excitement washed over me. Sure, let's go, I responded with enthusiasm, making sure my smile reached my eyes. Our fingers intertwined, we made our way towards the ice cream stall. Arriving at the stall, I momentarily ignored her presence as I confidently ordered 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream. Once we received our icy treats, we resumed our delightful stroll, hand in hand. With each step, we savored the velvety goodness of our ice cream, sharing glances and smiles of contentment. Ciel's radiant joy was infectious, her expressions ranging from childlike delight to a serene satisfaction as she relished each lick of her ice cream. Along our path, we paused intermittently, drawn to various shops that captured Ciel's interest. Observing her keen fascination, I couldn't help but be enthralled by her genuine curiosity. Eventually, we found ourselves in front of a jewelry stall, shimmering gems of varying hues capturing our attention. Amidst the kaleidoscope of colors, one particular piece caught my eye. Delicately sculpted into an egg-shaped pendant, its ruby red hue harmonized with specks of blue, mirroring the tones of our hair and Ciel's mesmerizing eyes. Engaged in conversation with the kind-hearted old lady staffing the counter, I mumbled my apology, already caught up in the desire to acquire the pendant. Meanwhile, Ciel continued to explore other stalls nearby, oblivious to my transaction. Do you have any money? The elderly lady inquired, her eyes gleaming with a motherly warmth. I nodded in response, my determination unwavering. Very well, my dear. That will be 1 gold coin, she announced, her voice carrying a gentle grace. Reaching into my pocket, I retrieved the requested amount and extended it towards her. With a smile, she carefully placed the jewelry in a small box, which I swiftly concealed within my pocket. Returning to Ciel's side, I couldn't help but feel a surge of satisfaction, knowing that I had found a token to commemorate our outing. As the day began to wane, the once vibrant market gradually transformed. The activities dwindled, folding into the cocoon of twilight, prompting us to seek respite. We ventured towards a hill on the outskirts of Zyrus city, where the world expanded before our eyes. At its zenith, Darv unveiled its grandeur, stretching out majestically across the horizon. The setting sun bathed the hillside in a golden hue, casting an enchanting glow upon the rolling landscape. In this magical moment, the hills appeared as ancient ruins, their silent stories whispered through the passing winds. The distance between us and Darv seemed insurmountable, accentuated by the vastness of the sun itself, a glowing behemoth radiating warmth and brilliance. The clouds floating above held a celestial quality, adorned with a golden sheen that hinted at hidden wonders, a glimpse of something greater that lay beyond our mortal realm. The sands of the desert enveloping Darv sparkled like millions of priceless diamonds, each grain reflecting the fading light with a mesmerizing beauty. Hovering gently in the sky, bird-like monobeasts glided, their graceful movements evoking a sense of ethereal wonder. They appeared as celestial beings, guardians of the land, soaring through the heavens with a grace and elegance that seemed otherworldly. I couldn't help but feel a sense of awe as I looked at the kaleidoscope of colors. Isn't it beautiful? I whispered, my voice filled with wonder. Ciel turned her gaze to the spectacle, her eyes sparkling with awe. Yes, it is, she responded softly, a hint of wonder in her voice. We sat in silence, captivated by the descending sun, its rays gradually fading from the horizon. The serene atmosphere enveloped us, providing a rare moment of tranquility amidst our chaotic lives. Suddenly, Ciel's delicate fingers curled around my arm, and she leaned her head onto my shoulder. Surprised but pleased, I couldn't suppress the warmth that spread through me. Thank you, Ciel, I said with sincerity. Today was incredible, walking around with you, experiencing it together instead of simply observing through my eyes. Her voice was soft and heartfelt as she responded, No, Thank you, Master. It was such a wonderful experience. I truly appreciated every moment. Feeling a surge of emotion, I reached into my pocket and retrieved a small box. With a hint of anticipation, I presented it to Seal, her confusion evident in her expression. Opening the box, I revealed the necklace I had carefully chosen for her. Do you like it? I asked, my heart pounding in my chest. Ciel's surprise quickly transformed into a beaming smile. Yes, Master, I do, she replied, her eyes gleaming with delight. Can you put it on for me? Her words were accompanied by a blush, further enchanting me. Of course, I responded, gently taking the pendant from her hands. She turned around, allowing me to fasten the necklace around her slender neck. As I clasped the delicate chain, Ciel's fingers softly brushed against mine, intensifying the connection between us. Her attention shifted to the pendant as it nestled against her collarbone, and she seemed momentarily lost in its beauty. Thank you, Master, for this precious gift, Ciel said, her gaze flickering from the necklace to my eyes. But I haven't prepared a gift for you. Before I could respond, my words caught in my throat as I felt her lips press against my cheek. The shock and warmth of her kiss flooded through me, leaving me momentarily speechless. It's for the gift, she stammered, her face now as red as a ripe tomato, before disappearing back into my soul, leaving me alone with my hand still instinctively pressed against my cheek. I found myself frozen in the moment, unable to process the enormity of what had just occurred. Ciel's tender kiss, even if it was just on my cheek, sent an overwhelming surge of emotions coursing through me. My thoughts raced uncontrollably, repeating the same realization. She kissed me. Well, it was only on the cheek, but it was a kiss nonetheless. Breathe, Rimuru. It's just a kiss. Just take a deep breath and calm down. I rose from my place and began to head toward Hela House before it was too late. The events of today were still fresh in my mind, and despite my best efforts to push them aside, they lingered in my subconscious. This new, overwhelming feeling that had emerged, particularly regarding Ciel, had been something I had been grappling with for a while now. Perhaps it began when the Tenma War finally came to an end, or even before that. Yet, in the past, I had been able to suppress these emotions successfully. But ever since I found myself thrust into this unfamiliar world, it had become increasingly challenging to control the tide of my feelings. Time would ultimately reveal whether these sensations were a boon or a burden, but in moments like these, when my heart raced and nerves consumed me, I longed for the ability to rein in my emotions. This was one such moment, as I nervously contemplated meeting my parents at Hela House. In the entirety of my existence, spanning from the life of Satoru Mikami to my current reincarnation, I could only recall 2 instances in which I felt this level of anxiety. The first was when I shared the bed with Ciel, and the second was when I mustered the courage to ask Ciel out on a date. A deep sigh escaped my lips as I finally arrived at Hela House, a grand structure that resembled more of a palace than a simple abode. The setting sun cast a warm golden glow over the horizon, signaling an end to the day's activities as people gradually returned to their own homes. Ascending the grand flight of stairs leading to the entrance, I steadied my trembling legs and took a moment to collect myself. Dusting off my impeccably tailored shirt and pants, I summoned the courage to knock on the towering double doors. But just as my hand was about to connect with the wood, I was startled by a voice emanating from behind me. Rimuru?